What do we say about this Stranger Things season finale episode? It's been a long time, but we finally here. And right now we're going to get into it. While I could say the watch was a net positive, I can't say that it wasn't without its flaws. First one really standing out to me was really the pacing of the show all season. It just seems like they have a hard time portraying to us that the stakes are really as high as they really should be. They tell us in so many ways that Vecna and the Mind Flayer are going to create an incursion between both worlds and that the world is never going to be the same and it's going to destroy many a people. But so many times you've seen them take their time with plans and so many wasted moments. While I can understand the tender moments and appreciate the one-on-ones between the characters, there just seems to be too many too frequently. If I could change things, I would say that maybe less. They just keep reiterating it. For example, the Will situation. He's in the guys. Okay, I don't think that that's a rock to die on while the world is about to end. I don't really see why they had to make a big deal in order for him to be able to tap into the hive mind and help out the way he did as far as killing some of the Demogorgons and all them other alien creatures. I mean, so many times I'm sitting there and I'm just like, dude, we don't have time for this. I mean, the world is about to end and who knows how long. We finally got a timetable when it's happening. You guys say it's happening at 6 o'clock on a Saturday, whatever time it is. And it's like we standing around talking about who's in the chicks and women and all kind of stuff. Do something. Like, you know, the world is at stake. So that's where they just kind of miss the mark with me on things like that. Like, let's take this thing serious. If it's an in-game level event, let's just treat it like that. I don't really care about all this other stuff, you know what I mean? I just don't think that's significant in this situation. I get it, there's a story to tell, but they just kept it going for so long. I can appreciate maybe believing in yourself, maybe just feeling like, you know, you just emotionally just timid or whatever the case may be, but it's like, okay, look, we gotta get past it because, you know, the world is at stake. Overall, it just seems like they really take their time and just take forever, just executing in many ways, you know, and just do a whole lot of talking about stuff that just don't matter. You know, it just feels like the gang is always sitting around making pork chop sandwiches when the fate of the world is at play. I mean, what are we doing? I mean, I can't make this stuff up. I'm not that good. So one of the parts in the show that I did like is when you saw little Henry and the scientist in the underground cave, the little exchange between them two. I think that it was a pretty compelling scene. Would have liked to understand more about it. For people who haven't seen the Broadway play, they wouldn't have anything to really put it to. Like, where does this piece of the Mind Flayer, where did the scientists even get this from? Like, where did the scientists even get? I mean, who is this guy? That's the kind of idea that you start to think. Like, you want them to delve deeper into where all this came from. Like, maybe if they took another episode and really went into the past and really talked more about how the Mind Flayer, that piece was obtained by the scientists and all, that would have been a good way to really ram up the show and make it even more entertaining. It was just a missed opportunity. It just really felt like a missed opportunity. And it's like really grade school level opportunity. Like, you know, writers, as far as the writers of the show, the Duffer Brothers, while the CGI and the cinematography of the Mind Flayer fight between the gang and Vecna fight was very enjoyable as far as visually, it left more to be desired in the sense that it didn't feel like a complete fight. For instance, where were the Demogorgons and the Demi-Dogs with the Mind Flayer having the whole hive mind at his disposal? Why weren't you seeing none of these things fighting? Scratch your head moment. Like, what are we doing? You know, if this is fully the end of the line, end game moment here, bring the whole pack out. You know what I mean? Bring the whole squad. You know, it's almost like you're being sabotaged, like somebody doing something to be, you know what I mean? Like they're doing this on purpose. Again, another key missed opportunity. Like, who's writing this stuff? You know what I mean? I don't know. While the choreographed fight sequence between El and Vecna was not really the best, it was over before you looked up. And while Joyce managed to hack away at him when it was all said and done, which was a nice way to go out, you know, because he was, you know, out of pocket with all that. It was just, you were like, really? Is this over with? I mean, we're talking about the Mind Flayer with the hive mind at his disposal. When you kill Vecna, he's an extension of the Mind Flayer, in my opinion. That's how I thought it was to be. him as an extension, just like the demidogs and demigorgons. You kill them, that doesn't mean Vecna died. He may feel the pain that they feel, but they don't die. So why is it that the Mind Flayer dies? You know, it just seemed too quick. It seemed too easy to kill the Mind Flayer for the most part. And then you see the little Mind Flayer dust fly away out of the kid's mouth when they detach him from the Mind Flayer's body, or whatever that thing is, the Matrix, whatever thing. And you're like, okay, so I'm guessing that it's still alive. You know, I just knew in my head it couldn't be dead. And at this point I'm looking, and it's still like a little over an hour left in the show. It took them a whole hour to go through the whole aftermath and wrap things up. And while I appreciate the sentiment and the farewells and the wrap up itself, you know, it was very touching at times, it just didn't feel complete. It really didn't. And it was very underwhelming in that case. You know, as a fan, I can appreciate closing out the characters the right way, and that was fine. That's all good, again, as I said, but it just felt incomplete, you know. And this is even before getting to the fact that Elle, the way she died or didn't die, it's left up to us to determine. It just seems so, like, make an absolute decision on what we're going to do with the character. That don't leave it up to us. Like, there's so many just missing moments. Like, what are we doing here? You know, it's a pet peeve. Again, just things that could have been done better. She still could have lived after faking her death, and then sometime down the line, maybe link up with Hop and eventually live the life that she deserves to live. After all the misery and heartache that she's been through, and Hop, the fact that he lived through so much grief and misery, you know, after losing his child, they came into each other's life at a time when they really needed one another. And it would have been nice for them to close out in a way where, you know, we finally get to live the life that we deserve to live. You know what I mean? Make each other happy, you know, father and adopted daughter. That would have been cool to me, you know. And the fact that we don't know if she did or she didn't, and if she didn't survive, it just shows that she didn't win at the end. She really didn't win. And I feel like she's deserved to win at the end. She deserved to win. The friends all deserved to be happy. It kind of felt sad, really. The ending was more sad while they closed them all out. Like, this is all over with. Like, the gang is all broken up. We love each other, but the gang is all broken up because everybody's really heartbroken over the fact that Elle is gone, and, you know, she sacrificed for a final season finale episode of Stranger Things, which should have been a hit out the park. Should have been some crazy stuff. You know what I mean? I mean, when Will had that power, we thought he was like Elle. We was like, yo, man, with Volume 2, you're like, yo, man, this about to be, oh, baby, it's about to be crazy in Volume 2. I was ready for Volume 2, like crazy. All of a sudden, they go and talk it down. Oh, yeah, he just borrowed the power from Vecna. Like, what are you talking? I'm like, what is this? Like, you know what I mean? So they playing us right now. I ain't even really him. We thought he had the juice. You know what I mean? Like, you know, clearly he didn't. You know what I mean? They got us with that one. I felt a little some type of way about that. But, you know, they just, I don't know, man. It's just, again, you know, it's a net positive watch because there's so many good moments in the whole series to complete it as a whole overwhelmingly net positive watch. But they just made so many mistakes and just scratch your head moments in the last episode, the last season for that matter. And it's like, what we doing out here? Like, come on, man. Like, you got the potential to make this thing like some Stephen King level lore. Like, really get into it. Like, tell us more about where the Mind Flayer come from. Like, all that stuff happening up in there. Like, what we doing right now? Like, it's just more. I know I'm being over enthusiastic and you know, dramatic, but you know, I'm not about to lose no sleep or nothing over this. But you know, it's just like, come on, man. Like, you know, I don't know, man. But I would still give this at least a 6.5 out of 10 for a final episode. Just because I'm a fan of the show. And sometimes that's just enough. You know, there's enough bad things out there that, you know, you still manage to like, and still has a good rewatch value to it. Stranger Things, you know, as a whole, you know, when you get to that final episode, it's going to bum you out, you know, but it still has a high rewatch value. And all in all, we'll see what happens. Hopefully, you know, word is they could have been setting up for a spinoff, so they left a lot of things unanswered, and, you know, it ended very vague with a lot of things, and we'll just find out if they're going to pick it up. That's that IP. I'm telling you, Netflix, they don't want to lose that IP, so they want to try to extend that as long as they can. So it's a lot more time in the future to really dive deep into explaining things that happen, you know, that they didn't show in the final episode. So we'll stick around and see what happened. But they really dropped the ball. The writers, they dropped the ball. You know, they cheated us out a little bit. They did. They could have done a lot better. It was a lazy job. But oh, hey, that's why we watch it. You know what I mean? Because we enjoy it. We watch it because we like it. This has been your boy, Tony. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe. Catch you on the other side. Peace.